And I don't know what time it is, but good morning.
Hey Keith, how's it going?
I'm well. The marathon, by the way, thanks for everybody being part of the marathon, everybody working with us behind the scenes. Shout out to Xerxes, the guests that joined us. It felt so seamless. It was so fun.
Yeah, I thought I would be. This is such a different way to do it, the virtual thing, and I thought that would be a little more exhausting looking at the camera constantly, but I was up the whole time, and I didn't feel like, oh my God, I'm gonna drop. Like you feel those lulls where you're like, am I still here? You know?
Right. I was, I didn't know. Every Keith and the Girl marathon, there seems to be some kind of fight with somebody.
Hmm.
Can that happen? I say it like I'm looking forward to it, right? But can that happen if everything's virtual? Yes. We had a walkout. Where's he go? The guy leaves his own house. He goes outside and is like, when can I go back in my own house and not act like this was, for attention? Anyway, yes, so much stuff happened on the marathon.
Of course, we're talking about the 24-hour comedy marathon that we did thanks to you guys supporting our Kickstarter. We had at least 60 guests. I think it might have been 70 guests rotating, and it was an absolute blast. So thank
you. A
you.
lot of fun. This week and next week we'll send you some clips, and then of course fairly soon we'll get the whole thing out to you. So again, thank you. And then afterwards, after 24 hours, we did a bonus hour or so
for the people who got that on the Kickstarter. And that's the only way. We never sell it. You can only get it on the Kickstarter. So it's very behind the scenes.
And that was fun too. So yeah. So at the end of this, yeah, I'm tired and I like my body feels empty, like there's no blood or veins in it, and my hands are shaking. But I'm still wired, and I didn't. So everything was done.
That is an incredible way of describing it. That I was like, wow, that is exactly how I felt. My body was jittery, not just my hands. It's just that the hands are the only things I could see. So yeah, it feels empty inside, but you're wired.
Kyle was here, giving me food and everything, being my little servant. And then afterwards, I did have sex, short, but I was way proud of myself. I'm like, look, there was something in there.
Oh boy, Kyle is special.
Yeah.
Look, there's something in there.
I think I said that. I said, look, there was more.
No, yeah. God.
We got the thing going. So then I stayed up and went to bed around 11 p.m. When did you go to bed?
Which is psychotic. I went to bed at 10 p.m.
Okay, same thing.
Yeah, I know. I think like 11 is even more psychotic, but I'm thinking like, you know what? Good. Yeah. We stayed up. Now we're going to straighten out our hours. Of course, you're in a fog the next day. And the next day I'm thinking I'm napping all day, but I was just more in a fog. And then I went to bed at 9 thinking now, tomorrow, we're going to start a fresh start. I couldn't sleep until midnight. What the hell? I don't usually have insomnia anymore, but I think I was still jazzed.
I did well. Well, you live with somebody. I don't have anybody to answer to. So even if the person in my house understands my schedule, I don't have to feel bad. Are they just watching TV, eating alone? I can do whatever I want. So I'm up. I get up for OMAT for the 7 a.m. Then I nap for 2 hours, get up for the 10 a.m., and then I slept until 4 p.m.
Oh, bless you. That was supposed to be my day.
Yeah, I got it for us. Don't worry about that.
Thank you.
How you doing today? So just to kind of out of it today or what?
It was tough to wake up today, to be honest. Yeah, but I'm here. I'm alive. I'm doing good. I think I can stay up all day today and tomorrow, fresh start.
Right. I heard my landlord shoveling outside, so I handed him the rent that I forgot about the day. Not a big deal, but I forgot about it the day before because I was so loopy. Man, paying rent, isn't that a kick in the pants?
It's a weird button to press. Yeah, you give it in person, which is I don't know. What is your landlord from 1985?
He's from way back.
Yeah.
And I paid off a credit card and they say, thank you for your payment. But I'm telling you, when it's a certain amount, I'd like a bigger thank you. But okay.
I like to pay rent not on the first, so that on the first or like on the third, when I remember it again, I'm like, oh, I didn't pay. Yes, I did. I'm an adult. So I like to get that kind of adrenaline going.
And we'll talk about it a little bit on the clip that's coming up. But I'm just watching my AMC stock up and down. And oh my goodness, I don't know what kind of racket these Wall Street boys are up to, but let me tell you something. Get your kid into politics or get your kid into Wall Street. Then disown them for being an asshole, but at least you made the ultimate sacrifice for your offspring being successful.
Oh boy.
These are if you care enough to make sure that they're fine financially, put them in politics, let them be an asshole. Put them in Wall Street, let them be an asshole. That shows that you're the ultimate parent.
Oh, goodness. Is that like opposite day? This is...
I'm not saying a better world, but if you care about your family, that's the way to play it. We were talking...
Do you think my family was trying to make me a lawyer by arguing with me so much?
They cared.
Yeah.
And you were too empathetic to people. Speaking of the stock, Andrew Chavone was on the marathon, the boyfriend of Maddie Smith. And
that's his credit.
Yeah. And he was about to make a whole life for himself. He was into these stocks. He was into them early, these meme stocks. He got out and said, had he waited about a month or two to get out, he would have $2 million.
Yeah. And I like that it was very obvious he didn't really want to say that number, but he did.
I had to get it out of him. But I said, well, you look at Maddie now and you say, hey, it's your turn. You almost do something now. All right.
Yeah, that's one of those things where it's like, I'm not going to think about that.
So here's some sections from the 24-hour marathon with Rod and Karen Morrow, Atheer Yacoub, Kevin Allison, Jim Norton, and Steve Schirripa.
Shout out to Xerxes, KATG. What does it mean? Laughing so hard, man, I ruptured my spleen. Henna's a dream, she's a Zen master queen. Life ain't been the same since they showed up on my feet. Little did I know it was exactly what I need. Giving hope to many people just like me. Tumors and rumors, lovers that screwed her. Henna and Keith are a hell of a twofer. Assassinates his haters, catfishing his dad like a fucking vindicator. Bring your A game when you come to silent trailers. Hold up, wait, it's Tom Cruise, the guy from Gladiator. Old Mac Club, show them some love. Do a couple blanks, then we roll up a dub. Wednesday night poker, everyone's a smoker. Folks burning down from UK to Minnesota. New Seat Jew, so fucking cute. Thank you for your spin-off and the art that you do. Black guy who tips Ron and Karen too. Bring down the house with the weekend review. 3,000 cats going back to 05. Remind everybody that we're blessed to be alive. KATG pod #1 in the world. Everybody give it up for Keith and the girl.
Welcome to Keith and the Girl. I'm Keith Malley.
I'm Chemda.
Hello, Chemda.
Hello. How are you doing? I almost forgot to unmute. I was just going to talk like you were in the same room, like it's, the year 2019 or something.
Welcome, everybody, to the 24-hour Keith and the Girl marathon. I woke up today thinking that I missed OMAT.
That was the best.
Wrote Chemda at 8:30 a.m. saying, oh, I missed the 6 o'clock OMAT. I don't know what happened. I'm nervous as it is. And then it hit me a second later and went, oh, sorry, go back to bed.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I'm like, well, now I'm up. So that was fine. We got up, we smoked a little and went back to bed. It's interesting to have different goals every day. My goal today was to wake up at noon. So right. I think I got like fairly close to it. It was pretty good.
When did you get up?
We got out of bed around 1, woke up around noon, and I'm going to share a little behind the scenes with you, only to share like what happened afterwards. Okay. Yes, we had sex this morning. Nice things happen when you have a good night's sleep. You wake up all feeling good. And then here's why I'm telling you this, because shortly after we were done, Xerxes heard the upstairs neighbor come.
Oh.
Now, I ask you, would that make you feel a little one way or another?
Does he have a partner?
You know what? They're together.
Okay.
But like, I don't know. I think like she's away or they secretly got divorced or something because every once in a while we hear him like go nuts and it sounds like he's trashing the apartment and then we see beer bottles the next day or whatever. It's a very interesting situation up there. So whether he's like with his partner or just doing it on his own, that's what happened like almost immediately after.
Well, you got them going. You got juices flowing, right?
I don't know how comfortable I am with that. They're so religious too. So it's like, no, we're having atheist sex. Get out of here.
I woke up at 8:30, then realizing what was going on, tried to go back to bed and couldn't. So then I'm like, okay, it's 9:30. Let me get my newspapers and my whatnots. It seems like it's going to be a good day because right away I talk into my phone. I say, play random music. And it started playing the bangers. You know, usually you're like, how did this get in my algorithm? But right away I got Hair of the Dog. I got Pound Cake, start the day music and hit after hit. And I'm like, all right, I'm very excited. I ate some chicken wings for protein. I got my newspapers for breakfast. Of course, for breakfast.
Love it.
I got new underwear today at the store. Dollar General was open. I'm ready. There's going to be a lot of sitting down during this.
Oh, I didn't take a shower since this morning.
Since sex.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the good news is nobody has to smell me.
I suppose so.
I could smell like anything right now and tell you I'm roses. I would say lavender though.
I could tell by the sweat outfit though.
No, this is just my latest whoopee outfit. You know what I mean? Got to have the scarf to feel like I'm in control of something. Okay. And this color just makes me happy. So we're feeling good.
So then, I couldn't really sleep. So I started watching The Mandalorian, which people have been recommending, a Star Wars thing. Yeah. And I'm a fan. I didn't know this Baby Yoda you probably heard about comes on screen right away. And I remember when it was a big deal at the time, people are saying, oh, is that the actual Yoda? Is this whole world stupid? They already said the Empire is destroyed and Lando Calrissian is 107 years old. How can it be Yoda? And these are the people we walk around this earth with. And I don't know how we're gonna survive as a planet.
No, we're not. Because I'm still watching The Walking Dead. And what I realized is nobody cares that there's The Walking Dead walking around trying to eat your face. They're caring about the people who are alive because everyone turns into a piece of shit or you get killed. Right. So that's the world. So enjoy your virtual life. Nobody can kill you there.
Now, as Hemda alluded to, we were doing this over Zoom, of course, because of the pandemic. I wonder how many people are watching this going, really? Who cares? The pandemic. Here in New York, it was just announced that coming in March, you can have weddings up to 150 people. Well, a lot of time went by. We did our best, right? We all did our best.
I'm going to compare it to The Walking Dead again for just 1 second, because there are times where they have, they just finished a battle and whatever, and they look in each other's eyes and they're like, we did it. Another day of survival. And I'm like, do we have time to talk about this? The pandemic is not over. The Walking Dead is not over just because you're having a moment. But whatever. Someone's going to eat your face.
So I'm very excited because we're going to see into people's houses now. Person after person after person after person. And sometimes people don't plan for it necessarily. I just was seeing a story about a woman on the UK, and she was doing a news article, some news story on Wales Today. It's called Wales, the country the news was at. And in her background on her shelf was a giant dildo. Giant, like you would suction it to a wall.
Stop it. Like the size of the guitar behind you?
Yes. And it was used as a bookend on her bookshelf.
Oh, I like her so much more.
Yvette Amos was telling the BBC about how people were being passed over for jobs during the coronavirus pandemic. And then, of course, everybody noticed she was on this 6-inch cock news. This just in,
Don't you think that's good? Don't you think, like, people should more respond like, yeah, I relate. I got a dildo somewhere, you know? Let's stop being embarrassed. Everyone has a dildo somewhere.
Well, before they can change the shelf behind them, let's talk to our first guest, right?
Yes.
How many guests do we have today, Henda, by the way?
60, 70, something like that.
Oh, my Lord. Oh,
Yeah.
my Lord. All right. Well, you know these people. They're from the Black Guy Who Tips podcast and recent winners of KATG Awards. Both of them. That is right. Rod Morrow and Karen Morrow. Karen, how are you? Just unmute yourself and tell us how you're doing. And we're off. All right. Hey.
Shout out to technology. Technology. Oh, man. First of all, it's an honor to be the first guest.
Yes, y'all are the freshest.
As award-winning.
I'm sorry, Rod. I'm going to have to interrupt you because Karen's our first guest. So.
Oh, you know what, Karen? Go ahead.
This is so embarrassing.
And you know what? We actually use the same mic, so I was muted. So you see what the man does to you? He puts the woman first, then he silences her.
Can you fight on air about that instead of waiting until you get off?
I can throw a paper clip because he's right across in front of me. He's not far.
Oh man. Well, our backgrounds are pretty nice. I feel like I wish we had some dildos to show you guys.
Right?
Get your shit together, you know? Don't wait, till another marathon to express yourself to the people.
If it's gonna be the BBC, I feel like that's on brand. Like you should be able to bring a dildo. That's fair.
I thought BBC was, a porn search term. So it takes a lot for me to catch up sometimes on these videos.
I keep it on me, that's what they say. If you stay ready, you don't have to get ready.
I don't keep one on me. I keep one in the closet, but you know what I'm saying? But if I had one to keep on me, I would.
I think we're supposed to keep one in us. Ew. All right. We're off to a good start. Heath is very happy about our choices of comedy.
Shout out to the upstairs neighbors,
Yes.
They know what's up.
Why do I act like my neighbors don't know what YouTube is? Whatever.
Right.
we were talking about the one other neighbor. Oh.
like they haven't heard all the planning you were doing also. Well, let's get right to the big news. How are my stocks going? I know it's on everybody's mind. I talked about buying AMC as the whole world did, shut down the man, become filthy, filthy rich. And a quick check right here. And I see I am up from putting in $1,000, $25.48.
Boom.
Yeah.
It's a revolution.
Fucking Gordon Gecko over here.
Yes, give it to the man.
It's a revolution. I asked somebody, I heard about AMC being the next meme stock is what they're calling it, after GameStop from my ex. And I said, well, you think I'm going to put in $1,000. What do you think about that? And she said, do you have $1,000 to lose? And I hate when people say that because who does? If I spend $1,000 on a vacation, it better be a good vacation. If I spend $30 on delivery and I get a pile of shit, I don't go, well, I was ready to lose $30 anyway. I want some return. No pun. So no one has $1,000 to lose. But if you think it's smart, I'm willing to risk $1,000.
And that was their wedding vows. And see, it didn't work out for various reasons.
I'm rooting for Keith to make money on this because I need him to be flush with cash when I get my $25 for the Super Bowl, where Patrick Mahomes will win over Tom Brady. And if he's like broke from putting all his money in the stock market, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I can't pay you. Can we double or nothing for the next Super Bowl? Like, I don't got time to wait.
You know what?
This is my stock market.
I need Keith to win so that he could make a will, write his daddy in it, then write him off. So that's why I need Keith to win.
Thank you. I'll tell you what, I've been trading stocks now for 3 days. I've never seen anything like this. This is crazy what's happening. No, it's the very first stock I ever bought, and I might be part of a class action lawsuit now. So this is very exciting.
It's a win-win.
Yeah, it really is.
Did they shut it down on you? Were you one of the people that experienced the Robinhood shutdown?
I use the Robinhood app, but it is other businesses that are made for the little guy that all of a sudden said, hey, I know what you're doing, obviously with AMC, same thing you did with GameStop. So these hedge fund managers say, hey, I'm going to short stock. I'm going to predict. To me, it seems mean. I'm going to predict companies are going to go down. By predicting it, you're helping them go down by even putting the word out there. And so the little guy says, well, that's Disney World to me, this GameStop. And so we're going to put a lot of money in GameStop. And this is all I know. And then that makes these the real bigwigs lose money to the tune of $70 billion so far. And they're upset. So now they go to the little companies. And by little companies, I mean, they have, billions, but billions that they got from the big man. So the big man says, hey, we're actually your bread and butter. Stop these people from buying so much stocks. And so then they stop them. And they put out a statement for us, the little guy, saying, we're going to, because this is volatile and you little people might not know what you're doing, we're going to stop it so that you can't buy stocks anymore. Well, now my stock is losing value. You could sell the stock. Well, if I sell it now, after you just did that, I also lose money.
Right.
And now there's a class action lawsuit. Who knows where that'll go? But this seems very immoral. And again, I'm joking about 3 days. I haven't seen anything like it, but this seems crazy to me. Hemda, what words made sense?
Yeah, you know what's fun about this is it really ensures that money is a real thing. It's just the whole time I'm like, Hemda, pay attention, because Xerxes has been updating me on the news about this stock stuff, trying to explain it to me, and I realize I'm like, whoa. As soon as you say short stock, I'm like, I'm out. As soon as you say and then the little guy and then the big guy, and I'm like, it sounds like we're being fucked. Anytime you start with and what happens is the little guy gets fucked, and I'm like, all right, so I'm fucked. Can we move on? Can you tell me what next to do? Because it's just exhausting. And then it's like, it's the same with the stimulus check, right? We were told $2,000 in this country, right? We got $600. Now we're looking to get another $1,400, but nobody wants to put that together. No, we were promised $2,000. So now they're thinking of giving us $2,000 just so that we don't forever blame them for us doing bad math. Yeah. Now add that up, and then we're supposed to have other countries look at us going like, you the man.
And what's crazy is I always do feel like somehow the regular person is getting fucked. Like, I don't know how, I don't know. Like, I didn't even play the game. I just feel like I'm going to get to 65 and it's time for me to get Social Security. And they're going to be like, no, GameStop is your Social Security. You are welcome to a job at GameStop.
No, but you did not make the list.
You want insurance? Go trade in your Xbox One and we'll give you some insurance, old man.
Yeah, this is what I don't like about money. When people go, Beyonce has the same 24 hours that we do. And I'm like, no, she doesn't. I have to use one of those hours to do laundry. I have to use one of those hours to do the dishes. I bet she doesn't even wash herself. Get the fuck out of here. That is not the same 24 hours.
And I wouldn't either if I was her. So I'm not mad.
If we switch bodies with Beyonce for 24 hours, first of all, 14 hours straight masturbating is going to be, that's already cutting me down to 10 hours. So I don't have enough. There's not enough time in the day to be Beyonce.
Well, you know what? Without shame, what the bigwigs are saying, these billionaires, they're blaming the little guys getting the stimulus checks and fucking with the market. And by fucking, I mean trying to make money.
Okay. Yes.
With no shame. Here's the founder of Double Line Capital, $148 billion bond fund. I think wherewithal from government stimulus ultimately is really the cause. Because they got 2 rounds of individual stimulus checks, they have money and they're messing with the market. You hope companies failed. That was your job, to see companies failed. What kind of American dream is that? But now the little guy isn't playing your game and is fucking things up. Give him a chance to invest. And then you didn't bet correctly, then you didn't bet correctly.
Keith, none of this is true because this is what they do all the time. But so we can do this. We can affect the market and all that stuff. But when you do it, it becomes a problem. And most people with their stimulus money, they're not doing this. These were people who had a lot of money, fucking with people who had more money than them And then they try to blame it on the little people. But no, this is a money versus money. It was basically a white on white crime as far as I'm concerned. And I guess that's why I checked
white on white
out.
collar crime. Yeah, it's like 1% versus the 5%. But like it's not like I'm on the 1% side, obviously, because I'm like, look at this rich ass billionaire motherfucker with these terrible clothes crying on CNN. I love that shit, pumping in my veins. But like the person winning is just some fucking bro from Reddit who's like been gambling on stocks for 3 or 4 years and probably got his own equity firm. Like, good for you too, but you know, I don't give a fuck, really.
I just like when anytime someone has a chance, like as a rich person, to go, you're giving them how much? That's so much money. I mean, I bought a t-shirt that cost that amount. So are we just handing out t-shirts? Should I get my t-shirt gone? This is disgusting and it's ruining our country.
Kill myself for their bank account. If I woke up and saw their balance in my bank account, I would jump out of a fucking skyscraper. But wow, you're really giving them that much?
Right. Yeah. Oh my God. $15 an hour is so much. I mean, one of these peas, it's organic, costs $15. But like, I'm a healthy person and they're just kind of gross. I mean, they'd eat McDonald's no matter what. So let's just not pretend that they are just human beings like the rest of us. Ew.
If Robinhood gets a $1 billion bailout, who do you think they feel beholden to? The man or Keith Malley with his $1,000 in stock?
Right? Yeah.
Of course they fucked me. They fucked me. My money was going up and they just stopped it. And there's no warning. We get to just stop it. We've never done that.
And then when you do your class action suit, and let's say y'all win $1 billion, it's like $1 billion divided by the lawyers, divided by a whole lot of people, and all this shit. And then what happens is, you know, five years from now, Keith Malley gets $26.13 for the class action lawsuit for $1 billion. Like, you're fucked no matter what you do.
And you know how I get the money? It's a random stock. Pick 3 cards, whatever card you pick. I'm like, you motherfuckers.
Keith, do you feel cheated? Because
yes,
you know, you look like the man, but you're in this situation, you're not the man. So I mean, how do you feel looking at your fellow brother man?
That's what Keith has been upset about all his life. He's like, shouldn't I be getting opportunities?
Yeah.
I showed up with this face every fucking day.
Well, yeah. First of all, Karen, that's very sweet to say. Thank you. Secondly, it's I do feel like I was fucked. I saw I'm new to this, so I'm staring at my phone like an asshole, and the money's going up and up. And I'm thinking, all right, what percent it starts losing? Do I take it out? And they go, don't worry about it. You're done for now. But you know what? The hedge funds, they can keep trading. That didn't mean stock for all this is trade. It means what you have access to, you may no longer trade.
Right.
Yeah.
What the fuck is that? Again, we weren't taught this shit in school, but how is that okay?
Like, where is Bernie now? We need his help. Like,
right.
How can we send some people to jail? I want to send some people to jail.
He wanted to make us. He
wanted to make Bernie into a meme.
Yeah, he's like, what are you gonna do? I make a statement, you make fun of my coat? Fuck off.
Yeah, yeah, he had a great statement, but then he had these wonderful mittens on. And guys,
we got distracted by the mittens.
I photoshopped him into a volcano because it was too delicious to not pass up. But we're gonna get justice at some point.
Well, I did see standing up for us, the little guy, was the great Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Yes.
And if the news convinced you that she's not good, you're a simple moron.
Mm-hmm.
She wrote, "This is unacceptable. We now need to know more about Robinhood's decision to block retail investors from purchasing stock while hedge funds are freely able to trade the stock as they see fit. As a member of the Financial Services Committee," good, I didn't know she did that, fantastic, "I'd support a hearing if necessary." Then Ted Cruz,
oh God,
did the emoji finger down to her post and wrote, "Fully agree." And then Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez wrote back, "Well, I'm happy to work with Republicans on this issue, but where there's common ground. But you almost had me murdered 3 weeks ago, so you can sit this one out." Good.
Call them out.
Right.
Ted Cruz is the opposite of orgasm.
And I'd see dorks online being like, I think you're supposed to have to work together. And if they're like, no, you tried to have her killed. And I don't think this is an exaggeration when you're talking about the Congress attack, the
I was
Capitol
talking to
attack.
someone yesterday because there's another one, Marjorie something Taylor Greene or something, like another
She's a
crazy politician
she's a
that tried to have
lunatic.
them killed.
Yeah.
And what I don't understand is like, how can you go to work with this person and just be sure no one's gonna just like catch you in the bathroom? Like, how can you be 100%? I just wouldn't want you to ever be sure around me after you tried to have me killed.
Right.
That we could be around each other.
Right, because,
Just-
because I think it would be hands on sight. Now, Keith and him, y'all have been through a lot, but what y'all haven't done is threaten to kill each other or have somebody come
we
in
don't know
and take
that.
over the
We
studio.
only hear the show.
Okay,
Karen.
okay.
We don't know.
Well, my bad. Not unless it's something secret happening that I'm not sure, but as
Probably
far as
is.
I know, neither one of you has actually, tried to kill the other one. If
I'll
y'all-
tell you what, it kills Keith when I roll my eyes at him. So does that count? Like he
I'm just
hates
saying,
it.
I couldn't
Yeah.
blame you. There's been
Yeah.
episodes where I wouldn't.
Yeah,
Look.
I mean, if all of a sudden we see a knife go past the screen and one of you go down, I would understand.
I would understand is all I'm saying. But yeah, I could not understand how you fucking work with me, man. I just so you have to know I ain't no bitch. I had to at least punch you in your stomach like Ted Cruz, like, oh, Ted Cruz is going to get some water. I'll be right back, everyone. Y'all stay right here.
She says, happy to work with almost any other GOP that aren't trying to get me killed. They found pipe bombs, by the way, around the Capitol that were put there the day before. Happy to work with almost any other GOP member. In the meantime, if you want to help, you can resign. You haven't even apologized for the serious physical and mental harm you contributed to from Capitol Police and custodial workers to your own fellow Congress members. In the meantime, you can get off my timeline and stop clout chasing. Thanks.
Nice. And then he said, what did I do?
Yeah. He said there's a lot of partisan anger and rage on the Democratic side. It's not healthy for our country. It's certainly not conducive of healing or unity. But everyone has to decide how they want to interact with others. That's when you know someone's wrong.
Right.
Hey, I guess it's up to them if they want to like me. They just said you're a major. They just said you're responsible for almost death. You're responsible for death. 5 deaths. And you went, I guess if that's their position.
He didn't even say no. Like, no, that's a lie. That's not what happened. Wow. I can't believe you accused me of murder. It was like, well, if that's how you're gonna be,
right.
I guess I'll take my ball and go home.
There's no talking to some people,
This is great because it's 25 minutes in and Keith's blood is already boiling. This should be a good 24 hours. You know what? It would be good if every hour on the hour Keith checks his Robinhood and goes, all right, here's the kind of hour we're about to have. I just made another penny and now we're good to go.
Oh, look at this. I just got 2 cents on my investment.
Oh, shit.
Oh, shit. We up.
Oh, here we go.
We're up $25.50. So I could pay you, Rod, for the Super Bowl and still have change.
Greed is good. Let's keep it going, folks.
We'll see what happens. We're back in real time tomorrow, Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern time. Tell them, Kenda.
We're going to be live on Stereo. Stereo is an app where we get to go live with our avatars and you guys listen and you can actually send in your messages. We'll hear your voice played on the show. So get the app now. You forget your password and then you got to reset your password. So get the app now. So tomorrow you can join us 8 p.m. Eastern time. And we're going live and then you could see our avatars and our little avatars face moves. And here's the fun part of it. Xerxes made my avatar. So I really got to see what he thinks I look like.
I remember when you were supposed to just know your partner's eye color. Now you got to know the shape of everything, right?
Yeah, that was a big deal. Quick, what's my eye color? Now it's like, is your nose this long?
We're excited to offer you a new way to interact with us. Join us for a live show tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern time. Download the free Stereo app and select us. Find Keith Malley or go to stereo.com/Kenda, whichever one you can spell.
We were just talking about dating in a pandemic, which I know usually, oh my God, that face.
His eyes just popped out.
Oh my God. I will tell you something. It's a bad idea to make your sexuality like the number one part of your identity and your, persona. and then not have sex suddenly for about a year. I mean, it's just been making me insane.
Has it been almost a year?
Well, here's the thing.
Oh boy.
I came to New York City when I was 18 years old and have just been having sex every few days ever since then. That was 1988. So I started this year thinking I had 2 lovers, and I mean, in New York City. Various others stashed around the world, of course. But oh man, a big thing, I think you were talking about this before, is I suddenly realized, this relationship was only based on sex, and so was that one, as a matter of fact. It's been a year.
Do you remember that moment? Do you remember going like, oh no?
Well, I remember for the first one, it was like Valentine's Day. It's like, oh yeah, this would be a good day to like text me back. Right. It's the texting back thing. I feel like everyone should take a course on how to be a polite and thoughtful person.
But isn't it also a favor? Isn't it a favor that it's pretty clear when somebody doesn't care for you enough, and we make those excuses that they couldn't text? It's clear they didn't want to text you.
Absolutely.
There was a dude, a comic that I used to run into a lot, and somehow every time I ran into him, he's like, this chick is mad at me because I'm not texting her back, but I'm obviously very busy. And I'm like, you're talking to me right now about not texting her? That was 2 sentences you could have texted. Obviously, she's very on point for being upset. You're making her sound crazy. But to be honest, it took me a while because I think I was very naive about it. Like, oh my God, what do women want from you even? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And now I'm just like, she's telling you what she wants. Just tell her you can't give it to her. You are annoying me now. Go annoy her. She likes it.
Exactly. If someone could just be like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm emotionally unavailable, and get that out of the way very quickly, that would help. I mean, it's so funny. I talk to guys on like the Kink apps or the hookup apps or whatever, and if there's a discussion thread on a particular kink site, people will discuss like, well, just don't reply. And I'm like, no, reply. Hey, I got your message. I'm sorry. Because the thing, my feeling is that in the kink realm, it's such a small community that you might as well be nice and say something, but let a person know directly, you're not quite my type. You find a polite, friendly way to say that. I would rather you acknowledge that, it's something, and I'll just go away. I would rather have the hard truth.
Do you do that? Do you say, hey, look?
Oh, I do all the time.
I don't want the hard truth. I want lie to me. Just don't ghost me. It's fine on the app. Don't respond. Lie to me. I can't take it. No.
See,
I don't. Yeah, I don't like people that don't text back if I'm seeing them. I want the hard truth. But if it's just on an app or like we just like I had a video FaceTime date the other day and I didn't expect to hear from the guy and I was like, okay, I don't know. And then he texted me and I'm like, but I would rather them, if they're not interested, just like not text me than say, hey, I'm not feeling whatever. It's like, well, I didn't ask. Like, don't tell me I'm not your type. Let me just like assume you're the fucked up one and I'm perfect. So let's move on.
Well, I do remember a woman had to, by the way, Atheer Yacoub, Kevin Atheer. Atheer, what do you think Kevin rates on his app? When he's looking for somebody, right? Who knows? So I was dating somebody and it didn't work out and we broke up, but it was over the phone. And then she wanted to meet for some kind of closure. And I'm thinking, don't we just have that?
Yeah.
Didn't we do that? And now it's a date double to end it.
Some people need to find their own closure.
She sounds like me. I'm like a lesbian. I need a lot of processing and talking things through. When my husband and I broke up, 10 years ago, we decided we're getting divorced because we were legally married. And I was like, okay, but we're going to go to a marriage counselor. He was like, we just decided we're getting divorced. I was like,
Right.
no, we're going to go to a marriage counselor just to have the closure, to have a few sessions to like walk through things and get some closure. And
he's like, asshole, here are my keys. yeah.
That's like what celebrities do, like conscious uncoupling, like you and Gwyneth Paltrow.
I was trying to be consciously uncoupled.
Yeah. You need to be unconsciously decoupled or something.
The problem is if you're getting a divorce, if you're breaking up after a long time, you've been unconscious for a while. So let's leave the consciousness to someone else now, because you haven't, you don't break up that day. You broke up a year or two ago, depending on how long you've been going out.
You broke up like
At
the
least.
Beatles. All breakups are kind of like the Beatles. It takes about a year and a half. I just spoke to my husband the other day because I'm getting over a breakup with someone else and I needed someone to talk to. So I was like,
so you get your closure from him no matter who you're breaking up with.
Exactly.
Oh, how fun for him.
It does your ex like get the business? Like, and this new guy reminds me of, and it's like, we already had our closure.
Oh yeah. The two of us were on Zoom for like an hour and a half comparing our most recent lovers and why we were angry at them. But no, we decided, we were like, you know what? It would be really helpful for both of us psychologically if, since that was 10 years ago, to record a conversation where we try to remember what worked and what didn't work about our relationship to see how we've
turn
grown.
everything into a podcast. Yes.
Well, no, that's the thing. I don't have a conversation podcast, but I'm always recording conversations because I don't know. I just
note to everybody.
No, I just feel like they might be useful in the future. You know, like
in a court of law.
Yeah, in a court of law, exactly.
That's right. So Nixon, you record every conversation you're having about relationships?
Right, exactly. I would make a great Nixon.
All right. How's it? How are things going now, or is the pandemic stopping everything?
You know, I am now questioning, since I've gone so long without sex and the romantic stuff has been like so frustrating for me. I've decided that maybe I should just kind of take a conscious break now, like stop even trying to make shit happen until I'm vaccinated and I feel like a lot of people are vaccinated. But, you know, like, when do we think that might be? Like, I don't know, June, July, somewhere in there?
I'm sticking in here for another year, I feel.
Yeah.
I don't want to say that to you because I
just remodeled her closet.
Just did.
I know. It's just, it feels like the new normal. And, you know, because it feels like we all kind of get sick of the pandemic and then sort of like let loose and then it grows. And then we're like, okay, we'll behave for a while. And then it's like, it's just, so
I'm
I think.
so glad you said that. Because there have been a couple of times that I have had sex, you know, with, in a couple of occasions it was people. Well, it was always people I knew before, actually. But I don't know. It's so confusing because you're like, oh, are you being careful? Yeah. Are you being careful? Okay. Oh, I got tested and I have antibodies, and like, oh, okay.
Like, what about the regular STDs? It's like we forgot about everything besides COVID. We're like, hold up.
Right. What about the STD of the soul? I know you're an asshole.
That's the worst one. Yeah.
Yes.
The STD of the soul.
It's when I hear all these people getting tests. Am I the only one that thinks that? Like, oh, I got my 7th test, and I'm like, what are you doing?
Exactly. That's my point. Like, you know, a friend of mine, we had sex. He said he had antibodies, and I was like, great. That's a nice thing to know and to say, but what the fuck does it even mean? Right. No one knows. You know,
no one
guys
knows.
have that on their dating apps too. I've seen that has antibodies. Yes. I'm like, Okay, do you think that's gonna make me like jump into bed with you like that?
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, a friend
He's
of mine
actually
changed
right
his-
here. No.
on Grindr, people will be like, vaccinated top. It's your new identity.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I guess you're right though, Atheer. Like nobody's really talking about sexual diseases, right?
Yeah, it's like
No.
those are still around, people. Are we still keeping careful with that stuff? I mean, I don't know.
You think you'd have it all in an app by now, like a government app that has all your health stuff on it.
Probably
Yeah,
to do in
anything
China.
that's contagious should be just in like one app and contact tracing. So you don't have to do those awkward phone calls. It just does it for you during the app.
Yeah. Also, if you can
yeah.
just wear a color indicating where you are on your
Absolutely. A little shape.
A little shape, if you will, a number
Sewn
that
to your
references.
coat.
I don't like you walk towards somebody on a date and then your phone beeps because you're close to their phone and you just be like, "Oh no, that's not me."
Yeah, right.
You just keep walking.
Atheer, have you seen
can you-
anyone in person that you met on an app during the?
No, I'm supposed to meet up with this guy next week. He said in his profile that he's very COVID safe, and he's like, if you're not, I don't want to meet up. I was like, okay, I guess he's really taking it seriously. But
He did say.
he did say so. I don't know. I'm gonna meet him outside somewhere, maybe for a coffee or something.
I
That's
miss.
smart.
And then what does he pick? Does he pick casual? Like you could pick, right? Casual dating, one night stand, looking for the one.
So I asked him this from the beginning. I was like, what do you want on here? And he was like, well, I'm not looking for a one night stand. That's boring. I really just want to get to know a person. And then he was like, but I'm not necessarily just looking for marriage. So anything in between I'm open to. And I don't know. I was like, okay, that's kind of my pace too. I'm cool with that. So I'm
That's so
trying
funny
not
because
yeah.
I think of what I would write, and I always boil it down to I want to be sexually compatible and also verbally compatible. I want to be able to sleep with you and sit across dinner from you and not be thoroughly annoyed. That's not, if that's what you think marriage is, then I guess I want it all. I don't know.
Exactly.
What else do you want?
Right.
I want us to mush our bodies together in a fun, exciting way that fits well. And then I want to be able to talk normally. Like everything else you can do. You can have your fucking weird hobbies. You can, have friends or like whatever you want to do. But when we get together, let's mesh our bodies nice and talk in a nice way.
Right.
Totally.
The like so many people use, or at least gay men use the distinction of fuck buddies or friends with benefits, for those more casual sorts of situations.
Yeah, but by the way, the straight people took that too, but you can't say fuck buddies to a dude when you're a female because they just think like they fuck you and then they have to start disrespecting you. Otherwise, you'll think of them as a marriage, potential.
Yeah,
it's very annoying.
But that's exactly what I'm saying. Even with the quote unquote friends with benefits part, what you were just saying, I'm like, okay, what is your definition of a friend?
Right.
Because mine is someone I could like have dinner with and like have a conversation with. You know what I mean?
Totally.
Like I don't know why
they stop being the friend when it's like the friend with benefit. They just treat you like basically a fuck buddy.
Exactly.
Also like they make the friend part the benefit. Like
yeah, exactly.
Yes, that's a good point.
What is the benefit of you? It's
right.
bananas.
I don't need you. No.
Also, how much effort is it to show respect to someone who's naked in your arms? Like, if
oh my
that's
God. God.
If that's a vulnerable place, like even just saying naked in your arms, if that gives you chills, you're fucked up and you're not as emotionally available or physically available as you think. And you are having poor sex. You gotta if you feel so uncomfortable that you have to shut down conversation or I'm going to fucking fall in love with you, you are in a wrong tree that I refuse to bark up. Although I have in the past, and it's just sad. It is a sad
We've
moment.
all been there. I know.
Yes. Just like maybe this is the right tree and I hump it. Oh my God. Horrible.
Yeah. I want to start creating possibly well, at least conversations that are recorded, and also maybe like socials that where topics of conversation are brought up specifically for kinky gay men to learn how to communicate better, especially around this kind of stuff, like these conversations that people get a little shy or a little bit blurred linesy about. Like, how do we get better at navigating all of that? Because with kinky gay men, like, there's even more shame or closetedness, or I don't know. Oftentimes people are really compartmentalized as if, oh, we don't really know each other, you know?
Well, because you've been asked to compartmentalize your whole life.
Yeah.
Like this, if you are a gay person, you've been asked to be in a very, very specific box, have very, very specific conversations. And when you veer away from that, you get called even more names. It's just bananas. It's so heavy that you have to do that and then navigate the rest of the world also.
I think it all boils
I'll tell you
down
what it's like to be a gay man, Kevin, please.
No, I love everything that you said, Hamdan. I'm like, where can I find a guy that sounds like you? But basically, it all just comes down to having a good relationship with yourself so you can have a good relationship with other people. And I'm just trying to, like, in the time that I'm single, just try to be better to myself so that I can also be that for someone else. And a lot of people are just really can't give love or receive it. And it's really sad for them because it's good to be vulnerable. It's good to be emotional and want more enclosure. That's just being human. But there's just so many people out there that can't handle that. That's just like too much to feel anything. And that's more sad for them. But we get hurt a little bit, but we move on. Eventually we can love someone.
It's like, Kevin, I think you were starting to say, like, you're negotiating peeing on each other. You're negotiating hurting each other. You're negotiating the torture of, let's say, your balls, but you're not negotiating how much do you want to snuggle afterwards necessarily, or what is okay to speak about from my childhood, or why I'm into this kind of thing because of my emotional trauma. That is that's now you're being really gross. Like, this is too much. What are you, my boyfriend? Like, can I just be a friend? Would you not tell a friend someone?
Or not just that. I mean, in dominance and submission, sometimes in role play, like I, for example, am way too into like worshipful role play where I'm the sub, I'm bowing before someone, I'm like really emotionally effusive toward him and all of that. And it really becomes like psychodrama, right? And it is the kind of thing where afterwards and beforehand, there should be some processing of, hey, I just became like a big open wound for you. Like, am I going to be able to get you to return my text tomorrow,
Yeah,
Oh
but if you start talking about that, that's so not sexy because you're taking the fantasy into real life. No, it's so weird to speak in that language, like, you will shut the fuck up. And it's like, can I not talk about how my face changed during that and how I thought that I had command of you for a moment in life? Like, I don't know how to live with it outside of it. It's very difficult. It becomes more vulnerable. Now I'm talking about it's like getting directions. It's like being in a play and it's like, can you say it different? No, I just said it. Let's move on. Let's go have dinner in your corner.
Well, but people have to get out of the mindset that it's not sexy or it can't be sexy to negotiate these things pretty clearly. Like I had a one night stand with a fella about a year and a half ago. Beautiful Black boy who connected with me on Grindr, and I wanted to while we were
Kevin, black man, right? Man.
Oh yes, black man, black. Okay. Yeah. Like, we use that expression, yeah. Absolutely. Well over the age of 18.
Okay. How old was he, Kevin?
It was probably like 25, 26. But anyway, he did not want to negotiate over Grindr as to like what the play would be. He was like, he was reacting to the fact that I list there that I'm kinky, but he didn't want to talk about it. And I was like, I shouldn't be saying yes to this because this guy is not communicating well about what we should be doing. But I did. And he came over, and then in the middle of play, he said, choke me. And I had to stop. I was like, sweetheart, that is the sort of activity that you really have to negotiate with someone first, because I might not know how to choke a person. That's very dangerous. And he was like, choke me. I was like, all right, I'll choke you. And then he was like, call me the N-word. I was like, I was like, no, you have to like.
You did it. Did it. No.
Wait. Did he say N-word or did he have to?
No, he didn't say N-word.
Okay, because if he's not saying it, you can't say it. That's not cool.
Even if he's saying it.
No. It was a few things. It was the F word, the N word. He wanted me to like go through various slurs.
He's probably recording you just like you're recording him.
Yeah, remember that. Other people could be recording too.
You're not the only one.
That's right.
But no, it's like that's highly charged, emotional, and dangerous stuff. Like I've had people call me the F word before while playing, and I've been like, no, doesn't work for me, dude. You should have asked about that first.
Yeah.
Hey, let me ask Atheer this: when you're supposedly these guys are being safe, they say it on dating apps. Does that mean they're already half in love when you meet them? Like I don't think they're being safe, but let's say they're being safe. That means you really stood out. Well, I really hope this works. Not just the way things normally work. Like
meaning like you're the one I take a risk with. You're the only one.
I don't know.
I would die for you.
Basically, in Corona times, that's as good a commitment as you're gonna get. I'm being safe for you. I'm trying not to kill you is equivalent to love. But I don't know. We'll see. People keep ghosting too. They do fall off, and it's okay with me. I've come to accept it. It's not what I would do, but I've come to accept that's how sometimes it is.
Do you tell yourself like, maybe they're dead? It's not me.
Yeah, this is what I tell myself here.
Post that rejection is protection. That's right. Even better.
That's what my therapist told me. So I put it as a post-it.
Look, and it says you're still alive. Well, on social media, you can follow Atheer Yacoub by her name. You spell it just like it sounds.
Everyone knows,
everybody knows that. It is so good to see you again. Thank you very
too.
much.
Thank you so much. Happy Sweet 16.
Thank you.
Nice
good luck on your date.
Thanks. Bye.
Take care.
See ya.
All right. You, of course, know the hashtag and to fill people in if they don't for some reason.
The hashtag is KATG-a-thon. We're posting the lineup that's coming up next. We're posting maybe some screenshots and just information about the marathon going on. And also, if you use hashtag KATG-a-thon, we can repost your stuff. It's KATG-ATHON. We have a new guest here. Thank you so much for being here, Jim Norton. How you doing?
Jim.
Hi, thank you. That was really an interesting discussion. I was enjoying listening to that.
Oh, good. You want us to put you back in the green room?
It was great. This is how dumb I am. When I first signed on, I was listening to this fascinating discussion about attorneys and all this stuff. And I'm thinking I'm watching the podcast. And then I realized it's just your behind the scenes production people are having a really interesting conversation. Like I am truly stupid. They were having a great talk about something. And then you guys are having an interesting one too. It was fun to listen to.
You kept switching back and forth. Put me back over there.
Yeah. I was loving it. It's fun to listen to other people. Usually I'm not a very good listener. Right. I think a lot of performers just get so wrapped up in our own shit and what we have to say. But it's interesting just to hear other people talk about something and negotiating and what you were just talking about, Kevin. Really interesting.
Well, we talked to Kevin before once during the pandemic, and he's into kinky shit, as you probably figured out. He's a pee drinker like yourself. You compared it to the popcorn, and I never look at popcorn the same now.
It's better.
Right. Is dating... can you imagine? Because I'd had great popcorn. Is it now because of the pandemic? And are you able to get all your stuff out? Is this a stupid question? All your stuff out the same? Is it harder now because what you like is so much more intense, I would think, than what I like?
You know, it's funny. Like I've been so mellow in the pandemic, and even before that, I've done very little. But there's no reason behind it other than the fact that I just got kind of sick of it. Like you kind of age out, I think sometimes, or you get bored with a certain way of thinking after a while. So there was no reason for it. But I haven't had pee in quite a while. But I certainly have no issue with it. But I haven't partaken in urine in quite a while.
Have you ever peed yourself into a cup and then you use your other hand? I think it's called the stranger.
No, but this is funny that I did. When there was one girl I dated, right? And you talk about being a sub, Kevin. I mean, deep down, I can play dominant if somebody likes it. I can text it, be dirty. I can talk about anything. But the reality is I'm much more submissive. And I remember this one girl, I got her to pee in a cup. And I didn't want to just drink it like, yeah, cheers. You know, it didn't feel dirty enough. So I had her tip her hand and make me, like she had to take her hand and tip it and make me do it. So I couldn't use my own hand, but I had her do her other hand just to kind of like show me that I had to do it.
Yeah. I was seeing a fella for a while, and this was a paid thing. I was paying him, but the payment was to worship the deity. Like the payment was, it was like, oh, this is not a sex work situation. Right. That's the way he was presenting it. In order to worship the deity, had to give a tithing, a tribute. And yes, and he would pee into what was like a chalice, so that it was almost like a, drinking the blood of Christ, right. Bowing before him. And
he thought highly of himself. Yeah, the language of that stuff, so much of it is not cracked up. Sometimes it's as good as you want it to be, and a lot of times it's not, but a lot of times it's the language. It's these trigger words that they hit you like a fist in your chest. Like I was talking to a woman once, and I'm not into like FinDom. Financial domination doesn't turn me on.
Right.
It's not my thing. I've spent a lot of money on sex, but like the idea of give me 50 slave and then she drives away does nothing for me.
I'm watching the stock market and just start whacking it. Where is this going?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I got to call the CEO of Robinhood. Yeah. No, it was one of those things where I was talking to someone about it, and she had done a lot of FinDom. And she goes, yeah, this one guy, I mean, I really rinsed his wallet.
Oh
and
my
when
God.
she said that, I got it. It didn't turn me on. Like I didn't want her to do it to me, but I'm like, okay, that word rinsed. I could see that being a trigger word for some reason. I don't know why it came out of nowhere. I certainly didn't want her to rinse mine, but I got like, oh, okay. It's like gambling. You know what I mean? How can anybody gamble their money away? And then you win one card game and you're like, fuck, I get it. That's how you gamble.
Right.
So
but
that
it's
word.
also like when you're doing stuff like that, especially when you're dominating, I feel like you're writing a script all the time. It's so much pressure. It's getting into a character and then finding every single turn that we're supposed to do. And I know, Kevin, you've spoken about like, if you are, what's the opposite of dominant? If you are the submissive, you're more controlling it. You know what? I'm going to pause really quick because I want to bring Steve Schirripa in here because he has a limited of time with us. So I want to bring him into the conversation.
Oh, good.
I don't know. I don't know if he's going to relate to any of this, but we're gonna give it a go.
He goes, I get you, dudes. Jim, Kevin, right up my alley. Yeah.
So yes, I feel like I could get, like Jim, you were saying, you could get into the mindset, but I can get in there for just a little bit, and then I feel like I run out of material, and I don't want to be this much in charge, and I don't want to push it forward.
Yeah. I spent a long time studying hypnosis in order to deal with this thing they call dominant anxiety, because if you learn the language of hypnotizing someone, you can put a blindfold on them and then maybe they don't see you sweat, and you do actually have a little bit of a script to go off of how you're dominating them and all. But even that, I was like, oh God, this is such a role. This is
now
acting job.
Now I have to say stuff like, you're getting sleepy, but still into me. Oh, this will be great, I promise.
The kinky shit I do is I hire a prostitute to come in and she unplugs something from my mixer but doesn't tell me what it is. You're ruining my job.
Yeah, that is torture. Yeah,
I love it. Steve Schirripa, how you doing, Steve?
If I entered the fucking Twilight Zone, what am I doing here? Where the fuck am I? What the hell's going on?
I think this was, what was this, season 6, episode 4? What was when they talked about this?
What, Jimmy boy? How you doing, my friend?
Hey, Steve. How you doing? Good to see you.
Good to see you. In the meantime, I've been calling you Jemda for 7 years. Your name's Hemda. Never corrected me. I'm saying Jemda. The guy in the pre-talk here is saying Hemda. I'm saying.
No, that's not the show I'm on. I'm on Jemda.
What's happening? How's everybody doing?
Good, buddy.
I knew a guy that called me Kevin for like 4 years in high school because it was too late to correct him. I'm like, all right. And then later he found out when we graduated. He's like, why didn't you tell me? And I'm like, oh, I don't know what's more embarrassing. You?
Yeah, but also just like people say my name wrong, I hear it wrong. So I probably heard it right.
All right. I'll tell you a funny story about the hypnosis. There was a comic, and I won't mention his name, at the Sands Hotel, the old Sands. Mm-hmm. So it's probably the early 90s, late 80s. There's a hooker, and this guy's an amateur hypnotist. So he thinks he hypnotizes the hooker to go up to his room to fuck him.
All right.
Okay. Goes upstairs. He fucks her. And she says, that's $300. He said, what do you mean? I hypnotized you. She said, look, you wanted me hypnotized. I'm hypnotized. Whatever it is, you owe me $300.
She went with this for the money. That's funny. Yeah, I'll pretend it's free. It was an acting gig. Good for her.
What do you want? I'm hypnotized, whatever it is. You know, he really thought she was under, and he had a big score. You know, he got paid for free, you know?
How are you holding up during the pandemic, Steve? You drinking your own piss?
No, I'm not into the piss thing.
No?
It's not for me. Listen, first of all, I'm much older than all of you.
You think they'll get over it?
I could barely climb on top of my wife. You guys got all these fucking wacky things, submissive, masochism, whatever. You know, no piss for me.
I can barely get on. I can barely get on top of my wife. You guys are into this weird shit. Like missionary.
I don't care what you do. You want to piss on each other? I tell you who used to work for, you know, when I was in Vegas, and Jimmy, I've known you since then.
Yeah.
We used to hire a lot of porn stars. You know, I had a show called Crazy Girls at the Riviera, and during CES, all these guys were going to strip clubs, and no one was coming into the hotel. So we said, let's hire porn stars for, you know, for the show. And we packed them in. We had Jenna Jameson, and at the time, Felicia, like 90s porn stars. This is the mid 90s, and Shayla Laveau. And
did you get any of the BBC newscasters I found on porn sites?
I'm really thought just to catch everybody up
for a second.
Maybe back then. And then so there was the
you follow
champion P Queen, and I think she could pee 17 feet.
Wow.
Penthouse P Queen. And one night after, you know, one of the shows, we all went up to a suite and we were having a party, and she was on the balcony, pissing off the balcony. Like, I think it was 17, 18 feet.
What was her name? Do you remember? Was it
Dara Michaels?
Oh, wow. Yeah, I'm not familiar with her. It was a squirter, or she would pee?
She was peeing.
Wow, that's awesome.
She was a Penthouse P Queen, Dara Michaels. Nice girl.
Yeah.
I have a logistical
very nice
question.
girl, very smart, very nice girl.
Well, she figured out how to do that. Very intelligent. I have a logistical question, which is how do you aim so that you can go far?
I just point at my mouth like a clown in the circus. Go ahead.
You drink your own pee, Jim?
No, I'm not into my own pee at all. I know that that's supposed to be good for nutrients, but no, I don't fuck with my own piss. That's weird.
He's not a weirdo, Steve.
I have, many times. Yeah, sure. Yeah, sometimes it depends on the vibe. You know, I've done it a couple of times, but most don't want that. You know, I mean, again, I'm much more submissive, but I've had a couple of girls ask me to do it. Once in a hotel, I did on the floor. I was fine doing it, but I would much rather be the recipient.
I get very pee shy.
Have you asked a girl to pee on you, and she said, "Are you out of your fucking mind?" Or
95% of them. I've said no. That's weird.
All right.
Do you finish the date, or are you too awkward? Like I'd feel too vulnerable.
No, I never ask them all. They kind of know what you're like before. That's the advantage of being a performer. They know what you're like before you guys go out, and they know my little kinks and stuff. So it's never a shock.
Does it start feeling like a little bit of pressure? Like I have to be this sort of sex person that they already have an image of, and I have to fill that role.
Nah. I'm perfectly comfortable disappointing. I'm perfectly comfortable not like that, because people are relieved when you're not as perverted as they expect you to be. They're like, all right, it wasn't as dirty as I thought. That's usually a relief. Yeah.
Do you ever just have regular sex?
Oh,
like
yeah.
Normal, like plain vanilla sex?
Sure. Absolutely.
It doesn't have to have all the bells and whistles all the time, right?
Yeah. The less porn you watch, the less bells and whistles you need. You're right. But there's too much. It gets to be too much. You can't, it's like drinking, you know, all of a sudden I need 30 beers to get something. So you stop for a while and then it kind of brings you back to normal.
Yeah. But you know what? Some of the porn now, 2021 porn is not even sex, some of it. You know, girls inverting their assholes and all the crazy shit. They're getting more and more and more and more insane. It's not really even sex. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, it's fetish. It's weird. A lot of it is. It's chasing that weird, that new high, the new thing. Yeah. What is it going to be that doesn't feel like the same old thing? And sometimes it really misses the mark. I don't like most of that shit.
So bells and whistles means like shit and piss, it sounds like.
Oh, whatever. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's like, you know, whatever. It's a lot of work. I'm tired. I'm beyond that. I'm too tired.
Did you used to do a little bit of the outside of the norm? Like maybe even, I think that people usually start with spanking or maybe like bad language, anything like that.
Steve sends them to the room, you know.
You know, I don't know. Like I said, I lived in Vegas for many years. I've been around the whole thing, you know. I mean, but some things just don't do it for me, you know.
Who has the better?
You know what I mean? Like certain things, just like you go, oh my god, blah, 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 and it's like a big fucking deal. You know, it's too much work.
Yeah.
Are you guys into dumps, Kevin, Jim?
No, unless you mean bad apartments. But if
I love it. Look what I'm doing.
I went to Plato's Retreat years ago. You remember Plato's Retreat? Anybody?
That's an apartment building now on Broadway, right? I think I know where that is.
That was like a place in the 70s.
Yeah.
An orgy place, a swingers place. I met a girl and I talked to a girl, a friend, you know, that we used to fuck around, and she came with me. It wasn't for me, but we went. We had a good time. They had a buffet. All I remember, people were eating bagels and lox while everyone's fucking. I mean, they had a buffet, a full flat-on buffet. At the time, I was maybe 19, 20. I was in good shape, 100 pounds at least lighter, you know. And I remember then most of the people were not great looking that were there. And the guys were walking around with towels on, and there was a pool and a jacuzzi and the whole thing. It was kind of a famous place during the Studio 54 days. Mm-hmm. I remember going back to the corner in Brooklyn with all my friends and telling them the whole story because it was so foreign to us. You know, it's like, wow, you made it there, because it was like so, you know, you went into Manhattan to do that. That was like something that wasn't going to, you know, nobody else was going to do. You know?
Yeah, I missed that. I never got to go there. Me and Rich Voss actually tried to go to one of the big swinger clubs in New York just to see what it was like, but it was closed down and moved to a smaller location. So me and Voss ring the bell. We ring it for like 10 minutes. And finally, an elevator comes down and lets us up. And it's just some guy in a robe, and it's his house. And he goes, no, the club's only open on weekends. Like he had moved, it was called the Vault. He had moved the Vault to his house. So me and Voss just went up to this guy's house and woke him up. So I never actually got to go to a sex club and hang out. I kind of am jealous that you got to do that.
He's like, I can like whack you off or something. It's like, forget it. We'll come.
He didn't even offer that. No, he was annoyed with me. Well, he had to work in the morning.
I think it was couples. There's like couple. There was one in Vegas too. It was like couples only, and then all girls. No single guys were allowed, you know. That's what it was. You know,
are you guys somehow offended by that? Because I feel like that rule is so that people stay kind of nice to each other in a way. To simplify it, I'm calling it nice. But if you allowed just men in by themselves, they would dominate and kind of kill the vibe.
I mean, I hate the rule because I'm a guy, but I get it. Of course I get it. It's almost like, because men are easy. Of course we're going to show up. But who wants to go to a sex party that has 800 men and 3 women? Like that's just not. It's not going to be a big seller, you know. So I get it.
If you're gay, you want to go.
Yeah,
that's true.
I've been to many of those.
Okay.
Actually, yeah, they're often just happening at some guy's apartment.
What do you say? What the fuck are you letting all these women in for? God damn it!
Exactly. Yeah. No, it's you know, you learn, like I learned, you know, in my 20s, whatever, going to things like that. You know, a guy can easily just slap another guy away or put, you know, I've taken guys and thrown them across the room because they wouldn't stop pestering me at a sex party sort of thing. And you realize, oh my gosh, yeah, this could get really out of hand if it was men and women. Yeah.
You think during the pandemic, there must be a lot of swinging shit going on. People are bored. People are going to, if and when this is ever over, it'll be like Prohibition ended. People are just going to go out of their minds, you know, when you could finally go do, you know, what it is you like, whatever that may be. Because people are pent up and they're ready to fucking roll if it ever happens. And I don't know when that is.
They're breaking these parties up all the time. They're breaking them up in Europe. There was one recently, I want to say it was in New York that got broken up. They break these up all the time. These like 300-person orgies, these 100-person sex parties. I don't even know if I'd go to one if it wasn't a pandemic. I would just be like, it's just a little too much. Like the saliva would bother me. Not the cum and not anything else, but honestly, the saliva. I'm weird with like other people's saliva at times. So that
is a thing. When I watch a TV show and the couple is making out and I have to hear the make out, I'm like, I think you're being mic'd, and I think the boom mic could move a little further away from you. It's that.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's different when you have your mouth on other things. And I hear the slurping, but saliva to saliva, I totally get that.
Yeah.
Also, I think we have a depiction before we go to a sex club from TV and movies where everyone is just gorgeous and is just like resilient and energetic and into everything, and everywhere you look you want to fuck someone, but really the reality is like if I find one person that I'm attracted to here, hopefully 3, because then it will be a sex party for me, that's gonna be a pretty decent night.
Just like these nudist colonies or whatever, nudist camps, I've seen videos and pictures. It ain't good, man.
Steve Whitey's like, oh shit, you're people.
You don't want to see me fucking running around naked anymore. Jimmy, have you ever did these clubs, which I've never been, where the guy lays in like the trough and everyone pees on him? Have you done that?
No, I've seen.
You're asking the wrong guest.
Yeah, no, they do that like at marathons sometimes, like on the West Coast. I've seen that. Like there was a guy in San Francisco, or it might have been a Pride parade where he would just lay in the urinal and they would all whiz on him. But no, I would never did that because I'm selective as to who I would want to pee on me.
I ran into the Stonewall once back in the day. This was in the 90s. The Stonewall on Christopher Street. And it was in the middle of the afternoon. Like it was, the sun was out and everything. And they had troughs at that instead of like, so I'm peeing into a trough and I hear a voice say, oh, you could, scooch over a little bit. I'm over here. And I realize I'm peeing on a dwarf who is all bound up in rope.
Hello.
But I'm peeing on his feet and he wanted me to like pee on his face. And
please.
Like I said, I was peeing before on his feet, but all of a sudden I'm like, whoa, and I got pee shy. I couldn't finish the job.
He takes it personal. Yeah.
Yeah, he was a little person, all rolled up in rope right there in the trough.
That is the first time that somebody can stop midstream. I remember Keith was telling me about how years ago he was in Mardi Gras and you can't find a bathroom. He's peeing out in the I don't know why I'm telling your story. He's peeing out in a little
side street. Yeah.
Yeah, side street, and then all of a sudden cops are coming, I believe, or no, you're peeing on someone's building.
I'm peeing on a side street by a building. And on the 3rd floor, this guy goes, you're pissing on my, like he took it as a person in front. He's like, you're pissing on my building. I'm like, oh, sorry. Like, I don't know what buildings are. I'm new to this planet. And so, but I can't stop. He is downstairs in 2 seconds, running over to me. I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't stop. And he's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? I'm like, I really can't. Now, luckily, my buddy was there. But my buddy and him started fighting, and then I had to finish and join in.
Wow.
Be like, all right, sorry, we don't want to fight you, but I really couldn't stop
midstream. I could roll it up. Yeah. You got it.
Good for you, man.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, Keith got a ticket one time. Made Pia cup rolls up on him. He still can't stop.
I had a drinking problem, Steve. But
is that a talent? No, is that a talent?
I was on the street in New York, and I'm pissing, and the cop comes. But I see the lights. Cop comes behind me, goes, "Hey, what are you doing?" I'm like, "Sorry, I'm not trying to be rude. I can't quit." What the fuck is wrong with you? Like, now I'm just being disrespectful. I'm like,
right.
I really can't. I'm very sorry.
That's amazing. I went to a club in Berlin where I got to a particular part of the club where it felt like it was raining. And I was like, what, do they drop water on us in this part of the club? And a guy I was with was like, no, that's people peeing on the walkway up that you've walked into the pee zone. That's supposed to be happening.
No, that needs a heads up.
Yeah, a sign, something. Yeah.
I like pie. I like pie. I don't need it thrown in my face.
Your
like
umbrella pick up your poncho on the way in.
There's also, like, if you're being recorded, there has to be a sign somewhere that says you're being recorded, but not if you're being pissed on. Holy shit. I walked into the wrong room at Limelight, and now I'm getting pissed on.
There was a place in Brooklyn years ago. It used to be called Warm Beer, Lousy Food. There's a documentary on it on YouTube. And it was like, bachelor party, bachelorette parties, comics. It wasn't a comedy club. But when you walked in, they had the air blew up the woman's dress. Like when you walked in, they had the big air. So it does like that Marilyn Monroe thing. So, literally blow the dress. And then they had microphones in the women's bathroom playing throughout the place. Swear to God. Look it up. Warm Beer, Lousy Food. It was the Crazy Country Club. And they did all that kind of shit.
Did the women know, or was it secretly, or they knew they were being recorded?
Well, you got to know. I mean, once you were there, because they played it in the club.
Oh, wow.
You go to the bathroom, the two girls go to the bathroom, and we're listening to them in the bathroom.
That's great.
The whole club.
Oh, my God.
That was part of the shtick, so you got to know it. But if you took someone there for the first time, and they did all this crazy shit, yeah.
Wow, so you guys are really discovering that women fart at the start of their pee. There
you go.
Yeah, that's really hot.
Warm beer. Sorry.
That doesn't bother me in the least bit, but a lot of guys would run for the fucking hills. I don't care about that shit. But some guys are, weird when it comes to that. Like, like women aren't supposed to fart,
Yeah,
I had a friend of mine.
I knew we'd find Steve's kink. I fucking knew it. I don't mind. Yeah, you more than don't mind, my friend.
Oh, that's what the fuck. I mean, with a friend of mine. Listen, a friend of mine, beautiful girl, beautiful. He goes to her apartment. He's got the thing with the feet. The toes are too long. He's one of those guys, if the one toe is bigger than the other and it's over the shoe, he's one of those, like Eddie Murphy, the feet thing,
Yes, I thought exactly of that in Boomerang.
Yeah. Yep. He's got a foot thing, right? So this guy has the same thing. A lot of guys have that with the feet. They don't care what the girl looks like. If she could be the most beautiful thing, but if her feet are funky, they don't want nothing to do with her. So he takes her home. I knew the girl. Beautiful. He's in bed under the covers. She goes to the bathroom. She goes to the bathroom to clean up, I guess. She farts. He fucking got dressed. He was out of there and gone. See, I got to go. He said, there's no way I could have ever
She was
got
in
a
the
hard
bathroom.
on could have ever had sex with her after
Really?
My mother taught me that. She said if she has to fart, she goes into she leaves the room, goes into the bathroom, makes sure that she is a lady 100% of the time. That's not what you do in front of people. And I find this amazing. I don't know, maybe that's a Middle Eastern diet, is you get to have time.
But you know what? She went to the bathroom. He heard it through the
Yeah.
Right. You can't win. Holy shit.
I remember having girls over, and I would have to cut gassers. I would go in the bathroom and turn the water on and fart into a towel. I remember farting into a towel because it was so fucking embarrassing.
That's a good one. I'll tell you that. I went years ago out to the Hamptons with my uncle, and he was meeting some girl. He was cheating on his wife, and I went with him, and we were staying. There was a bar, like a real hot spot, and there was a whole bunch of girls from his work and this and that. I had to go to the bathroom. I had to take a dump really bad. Girl says, "Go use my room." I go use the room. Little did I know they were all coming up there. I come out of this little motel room. It was horrifying.
No.
And there's, 5 girls sitting on the bed, and I'm there. It's like, I go, "I'm sorry." What do you say? "I'm really sorry. I stunk up their fucking room."
Oh, it's awesome. I could literally listen to shit stinking up the room stories for 3 hours and never get sick of them.
It's what it is. I mean, I was in a bar in Tribeca while during Soprano years, and I got to go take a dump, and it's a unisex, right? And I go to the bathroom, I come out, and there was a girl waiting, which is why I hate these unisex things. Yep. And then she, I guess, does what she does, and I was at the bar. She tapped me on the shoulder. She said, "You could have warned me."
What?
That's funny.
All right.
Now I know.
Listen, guys, I love you. I got to go.
Hey,
I love to talk shitting and farting, but I really have to run.
I can't wait till you explain what happened to your family. Steve, before you go real quick, could I do my Bobby Bacala impression for Jim and Kevin?
Of course.
Okay. Ready?
Yep.
Tony. Huh?
That's the worst fucking.
All right, good seeing you.
It didn't get any better. It didn't get any better at all.
Steve's doing a podcast. Yeah. Steve, you want to tell us a little about the podcast before you go?
Talking Sopranos. Me and Michael Imperioli. It's on YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts. And we sold it as a book coming out this fall.
Congrats.
That's
The book on the podcast. We're halfway through. It's a Soprano rewatch. So if you're a fan, might be something you're interested in.
Yeah, it's great. I've seen clips of it with a lot of the different people. You get everybody on. I mean, you've had all everyone. It's really good, man.
Yeah, it's going good. It's a lot of fun. Yemda helped me out tremendously.
Femda did a great job. Yeah.
Yemda has helped. That's why when Yemda calls, whatever she needs, I'm there. I never say no to her. Right?
Thank you, Steve Schirripa. You are terrific.
Right?
Yeah, yes.
See you guys.
See you, buddy.
All right, later, buddy.
Good seeing you, man.
We're talking, Jim. Well, obviously Steve's married,
and I have to leave in a minute too because I'm filming something. I have to be out because I'm shooting something.
You got it. Okay. Are you dating right now?
On and off. I mean, it's very hard to be consistent with me. I'm such a mess. Like I just I go on, I go off. It's the same as it's been.
I'm sorry,
but you like being in a couple, no? It seems.
Sometimes I do. It really depends. Now is kind of okay to date because there's nowhere else to go. But it's also a time where you could get very sick of somebody very fast. So yeah, sorry.
What do you think? And I know you have to go. I'd love to ask you this question. What do you think that your exes would say is the problem with you staying together?
With me and my exes, it's funny. I made amends to one of my exes because I was a shitty boyfriend and I cheated. They would probably say the biggest problem was that I was reactive, selfish, and they're not wrong, and I get my feelings hurt very easy, so I react angrily because I'm very easily wounded because I'm a self-centered ass. So I take things personally that I shouldn't take personally, and other people wanting to live their life because I take as them doing it to me. And it's like, then you react accordingly and it's wrong. So she's like, yeah, you always made me feel like I was wrong. And I was like, I never meant to do that. Somebody, when you apologize to somebody, you really mean it. Sometimes you realize what an ass you've been.
Love that. That's a great note to leave on. Thank you for being an asshole with us.
Yeah, I love you guys, man. And congratulations. 16 years. It's awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks
Good
for
to
being
see you.
part of it. Check out Jim and Sam, of course, the show on Sirius XM. You're one of the greatest comics. I love you.
You
Talk to
guys
you
are really
later.
awesome. Thanks so much. Take care, guys.
Take care.
Bye.
How about these perverts, Kevin?
I know. Fuck.
What are we talking about
It's
here?
getting very uncomfortable.
Kevin, how are you doing on time? Do you have a few more minutes?
Sure.
Excellent. So, where were we in our pissing contest? You know what's funny is I do need to piss.
It gets you going, right? And we're back in real time. Hemda only went to the bathroom 3 or 4 times
during the marathon, the entire marathon. You know what's sad about that as I think about it, because you're wowed by it. I'm just like, I think I ate more times than I peed. So something to think about. But I definitely was always kind of like that. I remember in high school, I don't even think that I know what the inside of the bathrooms of my high school looks like because I just don't want to go. And so I would wait until I get home.
Amazing. Literally amazing.
Thank you. That's nice of you to say.
Join us on the Stereo app. It's free to download, Apple, Android users. And you interact with us. You leave your messages during the show. We play them. We talk back. It's going to be a lot of fun.
So we'll be live tomorrow. That's Wednesday, the 3rd. So make sure that you download the app ahead of time and make sure you catch the show. We're only going to be on for about a half an hour. So get there at 8 p.m. Eastern.
And you can also see the little tryouts we did trying to figure out the app in the first place. Those are funny.
Oh, yeah. Our mic checks in there. There's like a couple of minutes of us figuring out the app. So check it out before we take it down. So join us by going to stereo.com/Keith Malley or stereo.com/Hemda, whichever one you want to spell right. And we'll see you there tomorrow.